good?
We're good.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Modern Queer Podcast. It's your host, Xzavier V here. And today on episode motherfucking 9, I got my homie who I have not seen in a really, really long time. I got the one and the only, Martin! What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's up? I just want to know what that clap was that just happened.
So the clap is to give us like a cue, like we about to start.
Yeah, so instead of us having the clacker, like before they do action for takes and stuff, it's so we can sync up audio and the video in the editing process.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know that when you're playing fighting games and they be like, begin! Right. That's
like
basically
action.
like action.
Right, cool,
without the
I feel like I messed up the show.
You didn't. I already said the intro.
All right, cool.
Oh yeah, so I'm here again with Martin. Say hi to the people.
Hi, people. How y'all doing?
Why you sound you all soft and
Look, I
mild
ain't never did
mannered?
it before, so I don't really know what to expect or what to do.
Oh, just be your regular self.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, I brought you on the show in the context of this episode. It's probably going to wane a little bit, right? So like it's gonna start off real simple, real mild, but we still gonna talk about some real shit. And then it's gonna go into maybe probably a little bit something more heavy that a lot of people are experiencing, but don't necessarily have the outlet or the avenue to talk about. But we gonna keep it classy here. Have we kept it classy for 9 episodes so far?
I've known you personally before you've done this, so I can't say that you've ever been classy.
You've tried a little bit, but
Damn. So what am I then? If I'm not classy, what am I?
I'm not at terms to discuss this on the internet. So.
Why not?
Because I'm not gonna slander you on your own podcast.
Oh. I mean, the people already know. When they watch these, they gonna know.
We friends, so I'm not gonna hurt your feelings.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, the internet know I'm a hoe.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep your integrity for my sake.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being a friend.
Okay, you can stop that.
Okay. Obviously, y'all can tell the nature of our relationship already. So, I'm gonna start this podcast off by first saying I appreciate you for being on here. Appreciate you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you're a busy man. I know you have 2 beautiful, phenomenal children that is now in your care. That you have decided to come here, bless us with your presence and your energy and your conversation. And so I'm insanely appreciative, bro. Appreciate you.
Well, yeah, honestly, thanks for having me. I am really kind of iffy about talking about things like this, but I feel like somebody needs to hear it. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's a major topic. And so the topic of discussion today is going to be centered around fatherhood. My man's Martin here, like I just said, is a father of 2. And he's a father of 2 at 25 years old, which comes with a lot of responsibility. And so we're going to just talk about all of the nuances of being a father, of being a black father to 2 black children. And hopefully even Miguel can come in and talk about, from the Mexican perspective about family and things like that. So hopefully today we can have a really nice, well-rounded conversation.
We talking about dads?
Yeah, we talking about dads, fatherhood, raising kids, being kids, all that kind of shit today.
Right.
This is a very wholesome. This is the family episode.
The family.
This is the family episode where we can say fuck. No. So I'm gonna learn some new things about you today because for a while, we had lost communication with each other. I had left the state. I went traveling around for a couple of years. And I think we had lost contact on all social media or whatever. And I had deleted my Facebook for a minute and then changed my Instagram. But in that time, you became a dad.
Yeah.
When did that happen and how the fuck did that even happen? Because you was not a dad when I left.
No, I wasn't. I had my daughter April 22nd, 2017. You want to know how I met their mother?
I mean, yeah and no, but yeah, kind of.
It was a weird situation, honestly. We just kind of saw each other in passing, and Then we just casually started seeing each other. And, you know, things happen. You know what grown folks do when they grown and they dating. So.
Let me see. How old were you in 2017? You were like, what, 20?
I graduated in 2014, so
18? No,
I was 20.
So you thought you was grown at 20? That's what you said. No, I'm sounding like.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I thought I was grown at 20, but at the same time, if I got in trouble, they would have charged me as an adult.
They sure the fuck would have. Yeah, because I met you when you were, what, 17, 18? Yeah, and you were a student at U of M. And you were rowdy. You were rowdy.
I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? It was the summer. I was doing some stuff I had never done before, you know.
These are true things. And then you met who was aptly named at that time. You met Morpheus.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
You met Morpheus, took the red pill of truth. Then ended up meeting the one, the only Professor Xzavier. And you met a group of hilarious, interesting people during 2014, 2015, 16. Yeah, we had a lot of fun back then, didn't we?
Yeah, it was cool. We had this the IML space.
Yeah. Meditating
and burning sage and
drinking and smoking and
yeah, that was too much.
It was a time when, I guess I want to say it was freer back then in a sense, and the energy was different back then than it is now. Just talking about in general, right? Like everybody back then, especially down here, was like moving towards higher consciousness of some nature, was like starting up businesses. Cafe Raymond was like the fucking spot, like the spot. And anybody who was anybody was wandered up in that bitch.
You know what's crazy about Cafe Raymond?
What's up?
I used to walk down there in the summertime just to use the Wi-Fi.
Understand?
Because my phone was off.
Oh shit! You did not.
That's how I met.
You did not have phone service for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, be rough.
Shit. I mean, you were 18 at the time, so that also plays into it, to a lot of things or whatever. So we had fun back in them days. Like you said, like we meditated. We was all moving in a higher consciousness. We just had banded together. We was musicians. We was artists. We was poets. We was video game nerds. All of us in there was anime nerds. We was learning capoeira. It was just a bunch of crazy shit happening. We did do a lot of stuff in there. We did.
We should have did half of that shit.
No, we should have did all of that. Like it was fun as fuck.
I mean, it was. But what? I don't know. I guess we're different people now.
I mean, yes, because that was what? Let me see. 2014, 2015. What was that? Like 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So motherfucker, you was 18, now you 25. Like I was 24 and I'm 31.
Old.
I was about to call you the B word. So I was about to say that word so quick.
I was like the Kevin Hart and Don Cheadle moment.
Oh my god, it really was. It really was, and my insides was raging for a second. Like, is that people calling me old? People calling me short. These are the
Those
two
things.
things.
Are true.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not old.
I'm short.
Okay. Are we the same height?
I'm maybe an inch.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. But I'm like Edward from Full Metal Alchemist. You know how everybody was calling him short and he would just spaz the fuck out? That's me.
Oh yeah, because he was the big brother, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the big. And all my brothers, even my little brother, is taller than me. Fucking genes and all that kind of shit. But yeah, so like fast forward to 2017, I had left, and so that's when you had your daughter. And so when did you have your son?
November 25th, 2018.
Dang, so they're not even that far apart. Dang, same mom, right?
Yeah.
Well, at least they got the same mom. At least you ain't. At least you had the same girl. At least you ain't got two baby mamas.
Listen, I don't even know how I feel about that right now.
Well, granted, now given circumstances that we'll get into much later, but Yeah. I mean, but listen. We can't say that for sure because we can never, predict the future and what'll happen. Something else could have happened.
I mean, at the time, yeah, it was all right that I had both kids by one woman, so I didn't have multiple baby mamas because I had brothers that had multiple baby mamas, so I understood how it could go, and I was trying not to do that, but
I know child support and all of that kind of bullshit. So like, how did you manage, right? Because at that time you 20, like, and I were 21 then when you had your son. Like now you got two babies. Like how did you even do that, bro? Like,
it was rough.
Cause I don't even know that span of your life, right? So now I'm just like, what happened during
some shit went down. Like I ain't gonna say like some stupid, like some I'm stuttering, like some super bad shit, but like I went through some things. Like I had to move in with her mom, and one night we were arguing, and then I had bust her neighbor's window, and yeah. So I had to
turn into Jasmine Sullivan out here, huh?
Listen, I was a little tipsy, you know what I'm saying? We had got the argument with each other over some trash. So, you know what I'm saying, one thing led to another, and her neighbor was beating on the wall. Mind you, her neighbor didn't, you know what I'm saying, she didn't dib and dabble, she didn't been messing around a little bit, so.
Okay. I see the look in your face, okay.
So, I'm already upset. Because why is you beating on this wall, and you do all types of things around here,
right,
and we don't say nothing to you.
Right.
So I go over there. I didn't really mean to be like. I'm not gonna say I wanted to do something.
I was like, "You sure?" It's
but I wasn't trying to break her window like that. I'm saying my arms just swung as soon as I seen it. You know what I'm saying? Just broke her whole window.
So this is where black people be like, so what had happened was. So what happened was you wasn't trying. You just didn't know how strong you was that you could break a window.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
I'm telling you, like, that's the truth. So after that, I had to move in with one of their friends. It was a neighbor who was upstairs. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to raise my kids like that.
Right.
And I just got a job at City Trend, so I'm paying rent. You know what I'm saying? What I can pay.
Right.
Where I'm at, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have my kids there, but it was so weird. You know what I'm saying? I had to.
That sounds weird.
Then at one point I was in a shelter.
What?
Yeah. I was in a shelter working third shift at McDonald's on the south side.
What? Like, did you, like, okay, so, like, I gotta process that one. So, like, did you reach out to anybody? Or were you just, like, going through the motions just by yourself?
I was talking to my family about what was going on, but my family believes, like, at a certain point in life, you gotta...
Oh, my God.
You gotta buckle up, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my God. Miguel, is it like that on the Mexican side of things?
So I wouldn't really be able to speak too much on the Hispanic side of things because I was raised by a white woman. My dad wasn't too much a part of my life.
Okay.
I see him on like weekends and stuff like that every other weekend. So I can't really say much about that.
Learned something new today.
So, but yeah, continue on with his story.
Well, all right then. Okay. Well, all right then. Well, yeah, because like in black homes, that is a thing. Like you gotta man up. You gotta handle your business. You can't be crying and complaining because you laid down. And I'm not saying like I think what I learned now at 31 is those things are true, and I don't want to take that from anybody. Like yeah, you knew what you was doing when you knew what you was doing when you was doing it, or whatever. But I think there comes you can be accountable for your actions and still also have empathy towards somebody who is going through something. And I think for a lot of times for black families, like we don't necessarily get that empathy from our own family members, right? So like I'm not surprised that.
Well, I wouldn't say they don't give me sympathy, but it was like at some point you gotta like stop saying "woe is me." You know what I'm saying?
True,
At some
true,
point, you
true.
gotta figure out what's going on with yourself and fix that.
Look at them IML values coming out again. Look at it. Keep going. Keep going.
So I'm figuring that stuff out now. You know what I'm saying? They was trying to tell me this when I was 18, 19 years old because I already got a kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 19, 20, I already got a kid. You know what I'm saying? They trying to show me. They trying to tell me, but I'm not listening still. You know what I'm saying? So now I got to figure it out myself. So yeah, that's. I mean, my family help when they can. They support it. You know what I'm saying? They love me and everything like that.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean,
I know, especially your dad.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
Shouts out to dad.
you funny, man.
Well, I met your dad. He's a cool dude. Funny as hell. Him and his friends. Funny as hell.
So yeah.
So what's okay? So that's a good segue, right? Because I know, especially in IML, you know, it was definitely about, you know, tapping into creating your own reality, dealing with your shit, you know, and all them kind of life lessons, which I felt like you got, but I think for all of us, like, it's not until you deal with life circumstances and life situations on your own
Exactly.
is when you really have to like start reflecting and processing and dealing with those sort of values that we was like all just sitting around talking about.
Right.
So when did like stuff start clicking, or when was the moment that you was like, okay, I gotta get out of this woe is me thing, which is hard to do. You know what I mean? But I gotta get out of this. Like, when was that moment where you was like, okay, I need to like change some shit. Like, some shit is going on with me that I need to change and like figure out so I can like be a better person and be a better dad.
The most recent time I had felt like that, and it really like hit me was right after my son got hurt. Because when it happened, like before it happened, I had no idea what was going on while they were living with their mother. You know what I'm saying? So it was like in a sense I thought that I was just tripping and they were fine. But then something in the back of my head was telling me that they wasn't. So it was always that nagging. You know what I'm saying? Like, do something, try something. But then that my son got hurt, so it was like, well, fuck.
Right.
That means something was actually happening when I thought it wasn't.
Right. Or rather, your intuition was spot on, but you just chose to like ignore that shit.
Yeah, because I thought I was just tripping. Like, okay, like at the end of the day, this they mama, so I'm not thinking nothing bad is gonna be happening to them.
That's definitely understandable. And like, well, you brought it up way before I was even getting to that section of this conversation.
My fault.
Well, we here now. So like, and I know and I can tell, because I mean, this was a recent situation, and so, you know, I definitely don't want to drudge up, you know, those emotions, but I do really believe that, and you know me, like, talking about it is therapy. Like, releasing and letting it go is definitely therapeutic in its own self. And two, the story behind it and just how many other fathers go through not similar things, but just similar things, and something is going on with their kid, and they have this sneaky suspicion or they have evidence, but it's just like, what do I do? Like, this is my child's mother, whatever. So I think those things, you know, need to be talked about. So what happened, because it was so funny when we started talking recently about that, like, what happened was around Christmas, literally the week of Christmas, I was fucking watching Spider-Man. I was in Grand Blanc watching Spider-Man. And my brother had texted me. He was like, he said him and my nephew was in the hospital. And I was like, what? So I'm like watching Spider-Man. So I'm like, how deep is the issue? Because I'm like, nigga, I just paid all this money to fucking see Spider-Man. Like, this better be an emergency situation for me to leave.
Wow.
Well, I mean, he might have just had a cold or something like that, you know, or might have just, you know, had a bloody nose. Like, it ain't nothing for me to get, like, all up in arms about, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, if he broke, like, an arm and a rib was just, like, sticking out, I'm like, oh, shit, I'm on my way. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, ultimately, I did leave, right? Because my brother was like, well, yeah, he found out that my nephew's mother was abusing him or whatever. And so, I'm like, shit. I'm halfway through Spider-Man. I'm like, shit, all right, let me get up. I'm on my way. There was at Genesis, so it was really no excuse for me not to be there. I'm literally right down the street from the hospital. So I was like, okay. So I get there, and make a long story short, my brother's pissed. He in the hallway. He crying. I go in, talk to my nephew, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? You know me and kids. Like, I love kids. Kids love me. I done taught kids. So I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, this nigga's sitting on the bed, chilling on the phone. I'm like, this is awkward. And, you know, we talking, and I'm like, hey, like, you in the hospital, man. Like, what happened? And he like, yeah, you know, me and my mom been having some issues and some problems and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So then my nephew dropped a bomb on me. And the bomb was that my nephew ain't my nephew. My nephew is my niece. My nephew is transgender. Right. In the hospital in Genesis, my now transgender niece has told me that he feels like a she, and that's the reason why she has been getting abused by her mother, is because her mother doesn't like the fact that she identifies as a girl, but physically looks like a boy. And I was like, yo, right? So I'm queer, right? And so I know, I don't know the trans experience, but I know that experience of family members, you know, doing shit because you're queer or you're part of the spectrum, right? So it fucked me up, but it didn't, because what it did was, at least in that moment, was it brought me and my now transgender niece closer, because it was like, because I started laughing. I was like, well, I already knew you was on the spectrum. She was like, what? How did you know? I said, motherfucker, because I'm gay. And gay recognized game, and your ass was looking real familiar since she was like born. I'm like, you hung around me your whole life. Like, out of my 8 nieces now, like, when she was a boy, she was the only one who didn't cry. Like, I would come over, hold him, feed, change diapers, chilling. All my other nieces, just crying. And so me and my brother, for like that whole week of Christmas, just like was dealing with like lawyers and child protective services and the court system and family court and social workers and the school and hospitals. And it was fucking traumatic. It was traumatic. I'm like, clearly there is abuse going on in the home. Clearly. You now have evidence. The child has told you the child is being abused. And yet you still want the child to go be with its abuser? Like, how does that make sense? And like, my brother is like calling everybody, calling all these people, filling out all this paperwork, and like nobody was doing shit. And he had to keep calling, he had to keep filling out paperwork. And I'm like, something about this is wrong. Insanely wrong. Because I knew that when a child is, what I learned, what I got more info is that when a child is born, they automatically give the rights to the mother.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't know that. Or I didn't know it went that deep. I said, how the fuck do you do that?
You gotta be married.
Mm-hmm. If you're not married, then that child, the only thing that child is like has of yours is your last name, and that's if the mother decides to give it your last name.
You know what's crazy?
Wow.
I bet a dude came up with that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly.
Dumb.
How? What? Wow. Like, that blew my mind. I said, this might be the most unfit person ever, and you automatically grant custody to
To the
them?
mama.
Yep.
And I heard that Michigan, it's stupid hard to take custody from a mama.
It is,
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what me and my brother was like going through that whole week of Christmas. Like I would never like I was traumatized because like obviously my brother is like fucked up and like trying not to be in contempt of court by holding, you know, his child in his possession or whatever. And I never like the friend of the court called my brother and was like, yeah, well I told you to do X, Y, and Z and da 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 da. And my brother's like, well, they're closed. CPS said this, and I'm getting a runaround over here. Well, I told you to fill out this form. Well, I can't find the form. It's not online. Nobody answered the phone. It's almost Christmas. Like, and the dude, like, what pissed me off was the dude was like, well, if you care about your son, if you care about your child, then you will be doing the things that I'm telling you to do. When I tell y'all I got pissed, I got pissed. I said, put the phone on speaker. I said, sir, I'm getting loud because I'm still pissed about it. I was like, sir, I was there. I went to the hospital, said, we did this. So then this motherfucker was like, well, who is this? I was like, I'm like, my bad. I forgot to introduce. Well, you're not such and such. Put him back on the phone. Take me off speakerphone. I said, bitch, just because you hate yourself in your job don't mean you can talk to people like this. And I was just like, what is this? It blew my mind. So then it gave me more awareness to your situation and what you were going through, because I didn't know like the laws and stuff was set up in such a way that they really do protect the mother, and how hard it is for the father to get custody, even in extreme cases. I'm like, I need to talk about this because that shit is true. That shit held on to me that whole break. So I know what we went through. I can only imagine what the fuck you went through.
Honestly, I had to do a lot of paperwork. I had to do a lot of phone calls and a lot of invasive things, a lot of interviews, and you know what I'm saying.
Not invasive things.
I felt so on the spot, and that's so weird for me personally because this honestly is a little off. My stomach was just trembling a little bit.
Yeah.
So we had to do a lot of family court. I got a family court case in a couple weeks coming up.
Right.
I think that's the last one.
I'm telling you that.
So yeah, like it's real hard, you know. And even when she was in jail and we was doing the court things, they had little lawyers that was like, well, can she get pictures of the child? No, you don't get no pictures of no kids. I think they had to because they was like defense attorneys or something.
Yo.
But no, you're not.
You said you ain't getting shit, motherfucker.
If you want a picture, you can look at the pictures that was in the report.
Yeah.
Of my son's skin being, you know what I'm saying?
So it's burns,
Look,
right?
It was like, they say it was 19% of his body. It was mostly second degree burns, some third degree.
Okay.
It was on his stomach.
Okay.
Coming down, it was like it was a big region on his stomach, and then it was like a little strips, then it was all the way down his leg, all the way down his leg, all the way up it was like halfway up his back, his butt, all of this was raw red pink. And my sister's a nurse, and she told me that some of the burns was in different stages of healing. So she would, you know what I'm saying, she told me that when she seen it, it looked like it happened like at different periods of time. Yeah.
I got you. Wow. Yeah, having third degree burns my own self on literally half my body. Like, I think I saw some of the photos and I was like, wow, like, so skin grafts and stuff like that gotta happen. And yeah, you be in the hospital for a while. It's interesting. Like, your son was what? 2?
He was 2 at the time. Now he's 3.
That's incredibly funny because that's how old I was when I got burned, and I don't even remember it. So I wonder will your son remember it?
I don't know.
So so how was the legal side for you, right? Like you said, they put you on the spot, but like what else happened? Like, was you like having to blow people's phones up?
No, not really.
I'm so sorry to interrupt.
What's up?
You guys, you haven't said what happened to your son exactly.
Oh, you want me to say it?
If that's okay.
Yeah,
you.
I was kind of skirting around it because
know-
I didn't want to.
I didn't know if that's like what you want to do or anything.
Oh, no, I'm not scared to say it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
Just so we let the audience know
Yeah.
what's going on.
the story is that, you know what I'm saying, he was burned in some scalding hot water from a potty training incident, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? That's what the story I got.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So, where was I?
All right. Sorry. You guys.
No, you good. But now I'm like, how does? So that's not clicking in my mind. I'm trying to process that. It just wasn't clicking. I'm like,
It ain't at all.
I ain't
Look,
never seen a
supposed
potty training incident happen like that.
Let me tell you what happened. So let me tell you what happened the night before. Like I found out everything. Like she texted me because I was supposed to get him this weekend. That weekend, right? So she texted me that Wednesday night. Like Ben got a rash. Can you wait till next weekend to get him? I'm like, yeah, no problem. Matter of fact, I'll wait an extra weekend.
Oh damn. Oh shit.
So she like, no, that's cool. You can just get him the next weekend because we missed this one. I'm like, you sure? Because like I don't have no problem waiting. Matter of fact, do you even need money for diaper rash cream?
Right.
Because I'm thinking you need, you know what I'm saying, diaper rash.
Right.
Nothing after that. I go to sleep. Wake up the next day, my head banging all day long. I tried everything. I done took Tylenol. I done smoked. I done ate. My head is throbbing. Like it's searing into my body. My brain hurt. So it's like
that's that energy telling you.
I wake up. It's like 4-5 o'clock. I inbox her again, and then after that, her sister calls me and says my son is in the hospital. I think I got that call at like. It was late that night. It was late that night. And I had to get dropped off at the hospital. And I'm looking at my son. I don't even know what's going on. Like, they say it's always severe and he this, he that. So I get to the hospital. The EMS telling me when we got there, he was unresponsive for an unknown amount of time. We worked on him for about 45 minutes. They almost called time of death. But they finally got a pulse out of him. So he was on like this trach. They had a colostomy bag, a feeding tube. You know what I'm saying? His brain was failing. His organs, multiple organ failures from how long he was out. They don't know how long he was out. So you know what I'm saying? It was like that for like 3 months at least.
Dang, that sounds like a scene out of a movie or something.
That's how I felt.
Jeez, did they say like it is? Because, like, unresponsive for 40 or 45 minutes means, like, at least I think it means, like, so, like, no oxygen was going on.
No oxygen. They said when they finally, when their mama actually called, she was like, my son is not breathing. When they got there, he wasn't breathing at all. He was unresponsive for it. They said they didn't say how long it was, but they said they worked on it for 45 minutes before they got a pulse. They, you know what I'm saying, they always called time of death, but ain't no telling how long she waited to call.
Right. Did they say, like, you know, once they got a pulse and, like, because now he's out of the hospital, right? Or is he still
He's
in the
in
hospital?
Indiana at a children's hospice place.
Wow. Jeez, I thought, wow. Have they said that he might have, like, some mental disabilities and stuff?
Oh yeah, they said that. Well, I wouldn't say necessarily mental disabilities right now, but I don't. The way he is, I don't think it's like gonna be back to how he was.
Right. So it's basically like a wait and see kind of thing at this point because he still is relatively young.
I think he could have complications in his growth later on and stuff, but for right now, he doesn't seem to. Like, is he showing any like big signs of any type of?
No, not really. It's like he still can't walk or talk,
right?
Or
So
feed himself or anything like that. So, he can pretty much like follow you with his eyes a little bit. He can Sometimes he can breathe on his own a little bit, but not too much. So I don't remember if they took the colostomy bag out or not.
So you said he in Indiana right now. Yeah. Do you like have are you allowed to go down there and visit?
Yeah, my sister had just visited not that long ago. I haven't been down there yet because I've been here trying to put things in order. I've been looking for work and trying to make my life more stable and have the fun so I could make a trip like that.
Right. Because I know you also have, which is still ongoing, the GoFundMe thing.
Yes.
How's that been? And like, I don't know anything about GoFundMe, so like, can you get the money out immediately, or do you have to wait for like the campaign to end?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. My sister set it up.
Okay.
And there's a goal there. You know, there's
$10,000.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. It's like 765 last time I checked. That's how much is on there. I know they take a percentage, but I don't know if there's like a time frame or things like that. But I think she has the power over everything.
Yeah, because she created it. Yeah. Wow. So like, cliche and maybe obvious question, but like, so like, how have you begun to sort of mentally process like all of that, right? Because I mean, to be, for lack of a better word, like, you know, I'm surprised you ain't kill her ass. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like,
listen,
somebody gonna get some hands.
When it first happened, I was so torn up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to think.
Mm-hmm.
I thought a lot of things. I thought that a part of me thought that her boyfriend did it because he was jealous or something, maybe.
Right.
I don't know, but maybe a part of me thought that she did it because she couldn't stand the fact that he looked just like me, or
weird. But okay.
You know, anything. I'm thinking this. A part of me thought it was my fault that I pushed her to this.
Right. I can see that.
And I was so distraught. I was so hurt. It felt like they killed me.
Right. I remember you saying that in our messages, yeah.
And I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. For like the first couple of months, I was just smoking and playing my game. And after that, I got to this point where it was like, I want them to suffer. It was like, my son was almost dead. I want y'all to feel how he felt. And then that was consuming me. That anger was consuming me.
Most definitely.
And I was lashing out at the wrong people. And every day I woke up so mad. And it was like, something in me was like, man, like, you can't, it's like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Because I had got so mad because I didn't know what happened. I didn't have no explanation. And it used to affect my dreams. It's like, I used to like, I had dreams of me chasing their mama down the street.
Michael Myers style.
Like, no, I'm like reaching out to her, like, cause in the dream I asked her what happened. And all of a sudden she just started walking away, and I'm like trying to walk after her, and all of a sudden I wake up or some shit. Like, I feel like I was like foretelling, like, you never gonna understand what happened.
Right.
And then they just got sentenced in last December.
Right.
And leading up to that, a lot of my thinking was like, I just want this to be done with. I just want everything to be done with. I want custody of my kids. I want to be able to say I got my kids, and I just want to raise my kids. I want to put this behind me. And something happened while they was actually in jail. It was pretty hilarious.
Coming from you, it must be pretty fucking hilarious.
It was hilarious. So look, while her boyfriend was in the county, right? It was a homeboy I went to high school with that was in there with him. And he know what happened.
I kind of see where this story might be going.
I ain't had shit to do with it.
For the record.
I didn't have nothing to do with it. I didn't tell that man nothing.
He said my man took it upon himself.
So look, I get this text message out of nowhere in my my inbox, my messenger, little people you may know, little spam thing, right? So I open it, it's like, bitch ass nigga, you got people jumping my brother in the county and this, whoopty whoop. I'm confused. I'm like,
you know what you talking about, Willis?
in my head, I'm thinking like, wait a minute. If something did happen to that nigga, he deserved it because it's my son we talking about. So you coming at me over my son. In my head, I'm thinking this.
Right.
What I typed was, what did I say? I said, live long and prosper.
Oh, listen, we were talking about being classy at the beginning of this. That's a classy move. That's classy, okay?
Then he came back with the, like I said, let my brother get touched and such and such. I said, have a nice day, son. I ain't said nothing else to him. I seen them in the courtroom when they was sitting. He didn't want to do nothing then.
He still ain't doing nothing now.
At all. I mean, I know people who want to do something. I'm really saving you.
Say he got some goblins, some goblins on the
like they want to do something. I'm like, no, because I can't have that on my conscience.
Right. Yeah, that's
I don't even want to do that.
Because that will definitely come back to you in some sort of way. How did she even try, or how did she even try to rationalize?
I don't know.
That
I don't know. She didn't. She has no explanation to me. She has given me nothing.
Not even to the court.
She said something to the judge. Her words were, I didn't mean for this to happen. It was just neglect and everything as it happened. I was just so hurt by it. Some fake ass shit. You know what I'm saying?
My eyebrow raised. I'm like, I got a lot of questions.
She ain't offer me nothing.
Black people questions on that.
Not a I'm sorry. Nothing. She didn't look at me once. Like that time I had seen her in the courtroom, she had sentenced. I hadn't saw her in person since the summer before that. Not that summer, but that summer.
Wow, that's a long ass time. Well, how was y'all like exchanging?
We wasn't. I had to go through her mama to get my kids, and sometimes that wasn't even happening.
Wow. So, but simultaneously, while all of this is happening, right? Like, you have 2 kids. You have a daughter. Like, what was going on, or was anything like going on with your daughter during, like, or rather, what was like going on with her in this whole moment?
They don't say nothing about her. They never told me. She never told me that she was a problem. She loved Kennedy, apparently, in the report. That said, she said Kennedy was a child of God and Benjamin acts out and throws things. So, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, shit. Wow, that's a moment where you can't make that stuff up. Wow. So, like, wow. It's a lot of processing I got to do in this episode. So when... Did she immediately get released to you following all of that stuff that had happened at the hospital?
Yes. I took her home right then and there.
Wow.
Well, no, she went with her grandmother, but they were making it so where I could.
Right. Wow. Did anybody try to come at you about custody or anything like that? Like anybody from her side of the family?
Was fighting me for custody?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
So you said nobody from her side of the family was fighting for custody?
Not at all. They wanted me to do it.
Yeah, that's a sign right there, man.
Because they didn't even know what was going on. Like, nobody knew how she was living.
Right.
She didn't tell her mother, her sister, nobody. She didn't tell them anything. Like that's what they feel like. Like her boyfriend was being controlling or something like that. But that's not none of my business.
Right?
You
That's
know?
their relationship.
You know what I'm saying? I want my kids, but every time I did get my kids, it was like they you know what I'm saying? Their hair was nappy and they smelled like urine and shit. You know what I'm saying? It was a little weird shit that was like making me feel like something was going on.
Expound on that a bit, right? Because about the nature of having children, but y'all broken up and like dealing with custody and who get who and when and how did you deal with stuff like that, right? Because when your children leave you, they one way, but then when they come back, they look something totally different.
Man, when I was going through that, and I had this thing in my head where I wanted to like be with the person I have my kids with, and I was still stuck on that even after we had broke up. And I was trying so hard, but she wasn't with it. You know, because I did so many things to her. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't that great. I was actually pretty bad.
Well, at least you can admit that you was the problem, that you was fucking up.
Yeah, so, you know, she wasn't, you know what I'm saying, she wasn't trying to be with me no more, and I wasn't trying to accept that, but at one point I had to, because you know what I'm saying, I still got kids at the end of the day. So, what had really, it was like, because she would say, oh, we're co-parents, but when I was like, okay, well then, since we just co-parents, let me see my kids then. You know what I'm saying? I would get ignored. And then I keep reaching out like, come on, man, where my kids at? Let me see my kids. I'm getting ignored. And then that's when I'm getting mad again.
Right.
And that's when I'm going off again.
Right.
So it's like a cycle.
Definitely it's a cycle. Definitely, and learning how to break that cycle is it can be challenging, because although you might recognize that cycle and you trying to break it, the energy of that other person might just be so magnetic that you just get drawn back into it and you just keep repeating it over and over again. Wow, that's crazy. Like I said, like I'm learning a lot, right? Because like it's been a minute since we really like sat down and like had a conversation, especially about the more recent years of your life.
Right.
So, son is in Indiana, but your daughter is still here. And so how's been the relationship with your daughter since then between you and her?
You know, she loved me. She ain't never changed. You know what I'm saying? Because at first I was there. At first I was in the house with my kids. I was there every day, making bottles, changing diapers. And I'm up at 3 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Bottle warmer. I'm doing it.
Sounds like father duties.
So, you know what I'm saying? My kids know who I am. They love me. So, as far as that goes, we still have a good relationship. She misses her brother a lot.
Right.
She misses him a lot.
Right.
And I be trying to, like, dodge the... Because, you know what I'm saying? I don't understand how to tell her right now what's going on. I have to wait till she older. Because I don't even understand what's really going on. She going to have to find her mama when she get older. And
have that conversation. Yeah. So one thing on your Facebook is, and we talked about this, but you mentioned justice.
Oh, yeah.
So after all of this has happened, and you went through the courts and all that kind of stuff, like, has judgment came to be for the both of them?
Oh, yes.
So what was the verdict?
Kiana, she got 3 to 10, I believe, and her boyfriend, he received a 6-month period of where he has to do a bunch of little
Like
substance abuse program,
like
parenting class, or some little dumbass shit to make it seem like he can be reputable because he's not a threat to society. So he got 6 months to do that. He go back in June to see how much jail time he really get.
Once he completed that.
Yeah.
Wow. So and with that, like, I remember that status you talked about, although you felt, and I'm paraphrasing, although you felt justice was served, it wasn't the sort of justice that you was expecting.
Not exactly. No, I wanted both of them to go down. Honestly, I wanted them to both be in there. Go on, send them both where they go.
For life, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I guess I can't just be like crucify them, or you know what I'm saying? Because it ain't my say so.
Yeah.
I feel like it though. That's my kid.
I know, so that's why I'm like, I'm trying, I'm like stuttering, because it's just like, I have no idea how I would feel in that situation. And so, like, to try to even come up with an answer to how I would even react to that, I have no idea, because I don't have kids.
I'd be the one that's end up in jail.
That's the
He's a
crazy
bigger
thing.
man than I am. I can say that for sure.
I can't do nothing because I have another kid to raise.
Right.
So I gotta grin and bear it. I gotta mature. Like, I
Hey,
gotta let it go.
it's showing that you're doing the right thing
True.
as an adult and as a father.
Mm.
You're putting your kid first before your reaction of how you feeling about the whole entire thing.
Mm.
Because you know, if you flip out, you're not gonna get your kids.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the hardest part that people don't understand, is that like a mom can get away with so much stuff when it comes to not getting their kids, and then like if the dad flips out or shows any sign of like aggression, they won't give it to him. Because then they just think that you're gonna be like that. But it's
All
like
the time.
a female can drive a man crazy. It happens every day.
We see it.
It happens
We
every
see
day.
And vice versa. And I'm
Yeah, it's vice versa too. You know what I mean?
And
But,
it go both ways. Everything go both ways.
yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
I mean, but also definitely want to commend you on the growth of it, because I can very much still see and feel the emotion surrounding this whole thing, because it's still ongoing.
Right.
And yet I want to commend you for being able to talk about it and being level-headed enough to recognize that you do have another child that you know is still within your care.
Right.
That you have to love and protect and support, until they can do so on their own.
Right.
And then even then, you still gotta do it. I just think, if you don't already know, like it would have been easy, to go down and let that anger consume you and just turn into probably somebody and something you probably wouldn't have recognized and probably would have regretted
Exactly.
later on in life.
That's what I think about. Like, that's what I reflect on. Is like this is the type of stuff that could really make a person just spiral out of control,
Snap.
like go
Right.
belligerent. Like, and I
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing good by not letting it get. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me. But it's tough. Like, it be days where I be like, man, you know what?
I see the look in your eyes.
The whole
But
time he's talking about, I'm like, man, this man's sick of talking about it. He's tired of it. I know he's tired of doing it.
Yeah. That's why I was like,
face,
that's why I was like kind of hard to like get him here.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had asked him to be on the podcast to talk about the situation, right? And I'm like, wow. But then, like I said, like when my brother went through his thing, I guess it was more like, now I really need to get you on here, because it was just like, no, like
relatability.
not even that. And then just like how many other men across the board are going through the literal same thing and don't have any avenue to talk about it, or anybody to talk about it, and just sort of sitting there doing what men do, or what we've taught that we're supposed to do, just sort of
sit there and bear it.
holding that shit in, right? Because that we know people who that all of that just sort of exploded, and then you like, damn, or you could be strung out on drugs, something like that. Like, shit, the weed might not be helping. So you like, I gotta get some coke, I gotta get some X, I gotta get some meth, I gotta go get something to numb or drinking shit. Like, yo, so listen, kudos and snaps that, like you said, it's not easy, but you haven't, fell down that hard to where it's just like, I'm done. I can't. I gotta go do something else. So I just want you to know, kudos to that, bro.
And it's like some days, like I really feel sometimes I'm stuttering. Some days I really still feel the anger, especially when I go in like stores and stuff, and people just act like they own the stores, just walk through. Come on, man, be polite. You don't know what people going through in their life, man. Somebody could throw you through this aisle, man.
Is that person you?
Cause I got so many feelings that's like really inside me, and I pray that nobody ever gets me to get that out, because they gonna catch homeboy ass whooping.
He got bagged up ass whoopings ready to go.
And I'm really trying to, like, honestly, I'm trying to get all of that up out of me. I'm not trying to be like that. I'm trying to be a calm, more positive person, because I understand that when you put good out, you get good back.
These are true things.
And I'm trying to get better karma in my life.
Also true things.
You know what I'm saying? Really got to cleanse myself of all that negative energy. I can't be the only one doing that.
True. Yeah. And I mean, I think what you'll find, and going back to them I am ill days, is understanding that even when it don't look like things are working out for you, they're working out for you. Because I just know from my own life, like, there's a difference between like physical in this reality vindication and spiritual vindication. It's two totally different things. And just recently I got to experience spiritual vindication, and I still want to be petty about it. I kid you not, I want to be very petty about it. But to know that you don't have to do something, that what karma comes to them, or what things that happen in their life will happen because of who they are, what they did. Like, they will get justice in one form or another.
Right.
Or whatever.
Like when dog got his ass beaten, I ain't had shit to do.
I mean, that's definitely one way to look at it.
I didn't say nothing. I didn't even know he was in jail.
Like, I just think about, like, the possibilities for, what could happen to them, what could happen to you.
Right.
Is infinite, right? Like, somebody may, watch this episode and be like, you know what, that's me, like, or feel like that they have some money to put on the GoFundMe, or know some people who know some people. Like, life is crazy. Like
this whole thing opened my eyes, though, because it made me realize that even the people that you feel like in a million years wouldn't let nothing happen, it could still fucking happen.
Very much so. Very much so.
So, like, it's like, what do you do in something like that? Do you listen to your instincts all the time? Because they could be wrong.
Is that like, you asking me? Is that like a rhetorical question?
I'm asking myself.
Oh, okay.
Because right now I feel like I can't put complete faith in anybody anymore. Because at the end of the day, like, come on, man, these are your children.
Right.
Because, like, come on now, if I had my children and some shit like that happened when they were in my care, do you think I'd be out of jail talking to you right now? Where you think I'd be at?
You'd be a little bit down the street.
Either that or in a box somewhere.
One of the two. Or you might hit one and then get two.
They would have dragged me through the mud.
Yeah, these are true things. That's a narrative that's going around. That's true.
I don't know, man.
I guess having this conversation almost is very nostalgic in a way from having conversations back then.
Why? Because you still look at me the same way?
No, not even that. Just like, how do I want to say this? Just like, having lived a life where I've had to answer that question you just asked, like, how do you always trust your instincts or not? and I won't say mistakes, but the lessons that come from when you don't answers that question.
Fuck yeah. You're right about that.
For sure. Because had I not trusted my intuition and my instincts, similar to what you just said, we couldn't even be having this conversation right now because I wouldn't be here. Not like here, like I would have left the earth kind of thing, but the position that I'm in right now, I wouldn't have been in it because I would have been too scared or too nervous or too just full of fear that of possibilities of good shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not even of bad shit, of good shit happening in my life. That none of this would be possible. So I know you weren't asking me, but I guess, to sort of answer that question would be, if it's far worse to not trust than to trust, than not to trust. I hope I said that right.
That makes sense.
Okay.
I understand what you're trying to say.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad. So I was like, that makes sense. Like, yeah, because you just never know and stuff. You just never know. So how are you doing now? In this moment, in this phase of everything, how are you doing now?
I feel like I'm getting better. I feel like things are looking up for me. Got some things that are getting in place. So trying to make those things stick and move forward, get some stepping stones in place. You know what I'm saying? Make my stuff more stable.
Okay.
I feel like I'm alright now.
Okay. Now I'm about to ask this question
What?
because a certain lady asked me this question, and I was like, I don't know. So I'm asking this question. So now I'm about to ask you this question.
Okay. What, bro? What is you?
How you doing spiritually?
I don't know. Like what?
I had to ask that question. That's always a question that's gonna be asked for like forever.
And I always tell y'all I don't know.
You surely do. But now I know you was throwing some shit out there, so now I feel like you know more, or at least you have a better idea than what you might have back then.
I feel like
asking.
Maybe there is some things that I have become more cognizant of. Some things that I have more understanding of. Some things that are more developed or developing more for me that I've matured and becoming with more age. Things like that. What is you doing?
Because I'm excited. Yeah. Some things like what? Like what?
What? What you trying to say?
Some spiritual things like what? Some concepts like what?
I don't know. I thought I told you. It's like when you put good out, you get good back.
Okay, that's one of them. Yeah, you did say that.
That's pretty much how it was for me because I spent most of my life with a chip on my shoulder. I was like real angry about stuff because of how my life was.
Yeah, he was.
So at some point, I gotta look at myself like, well, damn. If you don't want your life to be like that no more, change it because now you're not no kid.
That is life lessons. Yes.
You feel me? Kendrick said shit don't change until you get up and wash your ass.
True. So, true facts. You still listen to Kendrick?
Yes. Faithfully.
He was a huge
Kendrick, J. Cole, Kanye.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Gotta do it. Oh, Outkast too.
Definitely Outkast. So I'm gonna say this and then we're done with this episode almost. So I'm gonna say this. So I'm proud of you. I really am from meeting you as a ruffian at 17, 18 years old and watching you grow and mature and evolve spiritually and physically. I'm definitely very proud of you. You were angry as hell.
Yeah,
You was so mad.
I was a mad little teenager.
You was like, you was really that.
And fat too. Just walking around with a t-shirt and some shorts on. Mad and fat for no reason. Yup.
And smoking. A lot.
That was me.
A lot. but I all like. I guess it's okay. See,
Actually, when I was like 17, 18, I wasn't that fat because I had to start playing. I had just finished playing football. And I think after I graduated high school, yeah, I was still in shape a little bit because I had played basketball right then too, and they had me running and shit, so I was a little bit in shape. But then I went to U of M. You feel me?
fell off.
Listen, they gave me that meal plan.
He said a nigga started eating. A nigga started
Pizzas,
eating.
mozzarella sticks, banging shit. It was my birthday. I got like 2 pizzas, a platter.
Oh my god.
And what was it? I had the wings, the mozzarella sticks. I was tripping in that bitch.
Now I'm hungry. I'm starving. And I know you was talking about mozzarella sticks.
Oh yeah, the one mozzarella sticks you was talking about. You want some, don't you?
I do, man.
Mozzarella sticks is good.
So
Like,
I had the whole night planned to go out. No, I can't.
you still gotta go.
Tire's flat. I can't.
Tired of that.
Oh, I forgot your.
It's alright. I got the whole weekend. Yeah, alright.
I hope so.
I hope so. I don't listen. I don't want no problems, bro. I want you being talking about you had an argument because you couldn't go out tonight. But yeah, I'm proud of you. I'm happy to see you are still here amongst us within the living, moving, shaking, shucking and jiving, pushing. I love saying shucking. What's wrong with saying shucking and
That's
jiving?
why I said you was old.
I'm
you
not.
Say shit like shucking and jiving.
What's wrong with
My
saying?
father's 63.
Okay, so he doubled my age.
That's the type of shit he said.
You know what? Don't be mad, cause
You a jive turkey sucker. That's
listen. What's wrong with there's some jive turkeys out here, in this motherfucker, and all that jazz.
Do you got platform shoes and bell bottoms?
Nah, I don't even know how I would look in them. To be perfectly honest with you,
I don't know. It might work.
it might. It worked for Prince.
Niggas did it.
Niggas did it.
And got butt.
That-
Hey.
That's all. Listen, that's all I be saying. I be like, y'all niggas be stuck in some sort of weird masculinity complex. Cause when you look at the '60s and the '70s, the bell bottoms, the open button shirts with the hair
I
sticking
don't know
out.
what Rick James was on, but he had them skinny leather pants.
I'm trying to tell you.
She's a super freak.
Okay, like with the dreads and the
He was
afros
tripping.
and the rings, like all the jewelry, like and
Dread
you
band.
right was getting ass, and yet now we think that's gay. I don't understand it.
I mean, I ain't gonna never wear no shit like that, but
I mean, that don't look like your style.
it ain't. It's too tight for me. Too big for that. I ain't even gonna act like I know what to do with that.
Need to breathe.
Yeah.
Need to breathe.
Definitely.
Well, before we let you go, before we end this, anything else you want to say to the people? You got this camera, that camera. I'm looking real serious over here.
No.
You good? Nothing else you want to drop some knowledge? You want to spit? You want to spit some rhymes?
Why would you ask me that?
Because I want to feel like Sway on Sway in the morning and be like, drop the freestyle beat right quick.
I can't freestyle.
Neither can I. Miguel, can you freestyle?
Nope.
Okay, one thing on his list of things he cannot do.
Yep.
Well, with
I
that,
don't know. Nah, just like
this motherfucker probably can't freestyle. He just bullshitting right now. Well, all right, y'all. With that wraps it up for episode 9 of the Modern Queer Podcast. We want to shout out our sponsor, Wav Village. Wait a minute. You want to let the people know where they can find you? You want to drop your social medias, or you just want to?
Huh?
You want to drop your social media so people can follow you, or are you good?
No, I don't need to do that.
Okay. What we will do in post though is we will put the GoFundMe link in post so they can, go to the GoFundMe and donate.
Even you posted on the website.
Yeah,
They should have posted a link for it.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, so we can help you son out with that one. But all right, folks, it's another episode of the Modern Queer Podcast. Like I said, shout out to our sponsor, Wav Village. Y'all know where y'all can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Xzavier V Simon, Xzavier V Simon. Y'all can check out the Modern Queer magazine at themodernqueer.com. And We'll check y'all back next week for the fucking final episode of season 1, which is gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be intimate.
I don't like the way you just said it. This man got issues.
Oh, you know.
This man got
You need to
issues.
see episode 4 then, because woo, that was the episode. All right, y'all. We'll check y'all later. Peace.
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You ain't never met me for the moon crack. No, you ain't never labeled me as cool fat. Oh, I'm the one who bringing Stella.